Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros. Okay. Tuesday na ngayon maulan. Ang ating Tuesday mamaya po ay
Rainy
alamin natin.
Tuesday morning, day
Yes.
after SONA.
Oo, at alamin natin mamaya yung magiging lagay ng panahon. But of course, hindi pwedeng hindi natin pag-uusapan yung nangyari kahapon dahil yun nga sa third State of the Nation address ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos.
Yeah, when everything seemed, according to a lot of analysts, medyong subdued, medyo a little boring yung speech.
Too much info.
Too much info,
too much
biglang
data.
may pièce de resistance sa
Oo,
dulo.
may pang-finale na.
Kaya pala, pinatagal niya.
Yes.
Oo, sabi,
oo.
pero a lot of pundits are saying, this is a good move, pero it was something that could have been done way ahead of the SONA. Oh, a simple announcement way ahead of the SONA.
Ano ba pinag-uusapan natin? Yan yung sinabi ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na totally ban na nga ang Pogo. Yan talaga inabangan ng ating mga kababayan kahapon. But para po malaman natin kung ano ba eksaktong sinabi niya, yan, napakita po natin itong kanyang speech.
At ngayon po, naririnig po namin ang malakas na sigaw ng taong bayan laban sa mga Pogo. Disguising as legitimate entities, their operations have ventured into illicit areas furthest from gaming, such as financial scamming, money laundering, prostitution, human trafficking, kidnapping, brutal torture, even murder. The grave abuse and disrespect to our system of laws must stop. Kailangan nang itigil ang panggulo nito sa ating lipunan at paglalapastangan sa ating bansa. Effective today, all Pogos are banned.
Ayun.
No, that's really nice to hear because a lot of us are having, well, a majority of Filipinos were for that, banning the Pogo.
And then for quite some time, since umusbong itong issue ng Pogo, yung mga kriminalidad behind it, sabi nga natin, nagtataka tayo, ba't hindi nang sasalita itong Pangulong Bongbong Marcos? So, true enough, kumbaga, save the best for last.
Pero,
actually, this is the second time, nakita naman natin sa video na nagkaroon ng standing ovation dahil nga dun sa kanyang announcement. But this is actually the second time na nag-standing ovation during that speech kasi yung first standing ovation, mamaya papakinig din natin sa kanila, ay yung tungkol naman sa West Philippine Sea. But going back to Pogo, you were saying?
It remains to be seen how they define Pogo versus IGLs.
Yes.
Kasi ngayon, after the SONA, ang daming mga lawmaker nagsasalita, iba yun. Iba ang Pogo sa IGL. Baka yung mga iba, mag-applyan ng IGL.
Pero
anyway,
yung iba naman, newly dressed
they
Pogo
have
lang
until
IGL.
the end of the year to close down all the remaining Pogos.
So mamaya babalikan natin
Yeah.
yung issue na yan, at marami pang iba doon nga sa nangyari kahapon na State of the Nation address ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. So join us later po sa ating, ngayon po sa ating discussion.
Yes, join us because we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Let's now begin our countdown. Filipino weightlifter Elrin Ando powers through life's challenges as she returns to the Olympic stage. From Mets, Franz Boom Gonzalez reports on her journey.
Yan lang siguro siya ang schedule. Si Sir Miko.
Si Elrin Ando, ang ating Cebuanang weightlifter na pinanday na ng pagsubok sa buhay, ay sasabak muli sa Olympic Games, Paris 2024. Sa kabila ng matinding injury, depresyon at muntikang pagsuko sa weightlifting, kinwento sa amin ni Elrin ang mga aral na napulot niya sa Tokyo Olympics at kung ano ang halaga ng salitang Olympian para sa kanya.
Nangihinayang talaga ako dun. As a Olympian, as a first time Olympian po, parang late din kasi ako na-qualify noon. Tapos, hindi ako seryoso na Olympics na pala yun. Tapos, isip bata pa rin doon. Parang wala pang goal na mag-medal talaga. Parang sa sarili ko noon, basta importante makalaro lang. Tapos ngayon, iba talaga sir, iba ngayon. Kasi ang laki ng goal ko na kahit nasa rang 7 ako, ginugol ka pa rin yung pinaka-top talaga. Proud din ako sa sarili ko. Dahil sa dami namin 22 lang po kami yung napili po.
Ibinahagi rin ng isang dating gasoline girl at mga ngalakal ng basura kung ano ang nagawa ng sport na weightlifting para sa kanya at sa kanyang pamilya.
Ang dami sir, ang dami. Nakapatayo ako ng bahay sa mga kapatid ko. Family first talaga ako sir. Parang gusto ko unahin sila before ako. Tapos after ng Olympics, parang nagpatayo ako ng bahay sa Cebu na para sa kanila lang. Tapos yung goal ko ngayon after Olympics na magkaroon ako ng sarili kong bahay talaga. Yung sa akin na talaga.
Si Elrin Ando ay bahagi ng pinakamalaking weightlifting contingent na ipinadala ng Pilipinas sa loob ng 40 taon. Lahat sila ay handa ng bumuhat ng mga pangarap at pag-asa ng buong bansa, kasama ang ating mga atleta na lalaban sa Paris 2024. Mula sa Metz, France, ako po si Boom Gonzales.
Isang daang taong laban, isang daang taong laban, isang daang taong laban para sa bayan. Isang daang taong laban, isang daang taong laban, isang daang taong laban.
Let's move on with our countdown. On our top 9 is the flooding in some parts of the country due to the southwest monsoon or habagat. In Kalumpit, Bulacan, the Brigada Escuela was halted after several schools were flooded. The same situation was also observed in schools in Masantol, Pampanga. Modules and books were placed on top of chairs to protect modules and books from getting wet. Over in Davao City, vehicles struggled to pass through as some streets turned into rivers. Preemptive evacuations have also been implemented in several barangays.
Pag-asa continues to monitor Typhoon Karina. Let's get the latest from Pag-asa weather forecaster Benison Estareja.
Good morning, Benison.
Benison, hello, good morning.
Hello po, good morning, and good morning din sa ating mga viewers. Meron po tayong yellow warning na itinaas dito po sa may Zambales, Bataan, Metro Manila, Cavite, and Batangas. Kaninang alas 8 ng umaga. So, ibig sabihin po hanggang mamayang 11 a.m., posible po ang malalakas na mga pag-ulan. Epekto po yan ng southwest monsoon or habagat. Kaya mag-ingat din sa mga posibleng pagbaha at yung pagguho din po ng lupa. Asahan natin yung epekto nitong si Bagyong Karina or Typhoon Karina sa malaking bahagi ng bansa with its southwest monsoon. So, pinakamalalakas pa rin ang mga pag-ulan dito sa may Ilocos Region, sa may Abra, Benguet, Zambales, Bataan, hanggang dito po sa may Occidental Mindoro at halos ang natitirang bahagi ng Luzon, meron din mga moderate to heavy rains sa susunod po na 24 oras. Yung latest location naman, itong si Bagyong Karina ay nasa 380 kilometers east of Apari, Cagayan. Taglay ang maximum sustained winds na 130 kilometers per hour malapit sa center at may gustiness hanggang 160 kilometers per hour. At mabagal pa rin po itong kumikilos pahilaga, hilagang kanluran sa bilis lamang na 10 kilometers per hour. Posibleng lumabas pa ito ng ating area of responsibility sa darating po na Thursday ng madaling araw patungo sa may northern Taiwan and southeastern China. So mababa yung chance na ito magla-landfall pero meron pa ring direct effect yung outer rain bands o yung outer portion nitong si Bagyong Karina. Meron po tayong signal number 1 sa Batanes, Babuyan Islands, northern and eastern portion ng mainland Cagayan, eastern portion ng Isabela, northern Apayao, northern Ilocos Norte, northern Aurora, Pudillo Islands, Calaguas Islands, and northern Catanduanes. So ito yung mga karanas naman ng mga pagbugso ng hangin, direktang epekto nitong si Bagyong Karina. Yung next update po natin ay mamayang alas 11 ng umaga. At yan muna latest. Ako po si Benny Estareja. Magandang umaga po.
Benny, gusto ko lang i-clarify sa NCR in particular, Metro Manila, today and tomorrow, do we expect light rains na o tuloy-tuloy na malakas, tuloy-tuloy na mahina? Dami kasi nagtatanong kung pwede na daw maglaba at magsampay.
For today po yung weather natin is halos po katulad ng hapon or katulad kahapon ng hapon hanggang gabi na paminsan-minsan lumalakas po yung pag-ulan natin, pabugso-bugso kumbaga. And then in-expect po natin by tomorrow, meron pa ring mga pabugso-bugsong ulan pero hindi na kasing dalas po as today.
Okay.
Wala bang posibilidad ito, Benison, na matunaw itong si Karina papalabas ang ating bansa?
Bali po for today and tomorrow, expected pa rin siya as a typhoon. Bagamat unti-unti na siyang nagno-northward movement, so unti-unti lumalayo ng ating kalupaan. Yung pagkalusaw po hindi pa natin inaasahan.
And then last, meron ka pa na. Benny, I'd like to ask also sa weekend, do we see clear skies ahead of us na at least makita natin si Haring Araw?
Yes, we're seeing po pagsapit ng July 26, 27,
okay.
possible po na bubuti yung panahon natin dito sa Southern Luzon and then the eastern sides of Northern and Central Luzon. So ang may iwan po na magiging maulan dahil sa habagat ay itong Ilocos, Zambales, Bataan.
Okay.
Alright, maraming salamat sa iyo, Pag-asa Weather Forecaster, Benison Estareja. Alright, coming up, President Bongbong Marcos has spoken. All pogos in the country are banned.
And suspended Bamban Mayor Alice Go is still nowhere to be seen amid a preliminary probe on her trafficking case. Ivan Pogo, IJL, kayong mag-usap.
Iba yun pogo tsaka ano. Pero sabi nga nila same banana.
Kung makinig na lang kayo, huwag na kayo apprehension.
Tignan natin Pero syempre yun nga, as I was saying kanina, marami tayong pag-uusapan tungkol sa nangyaring SONA kahapon. Bakit?
Hindi nga.
Gusto mo maglaba ka na kahit maulan. We are just getting started mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when brunch returns. Keep it here on One News.
The Philippines cannot yield. The Philippines cannot waver. We are continuing to strengthen our defensive posture, both through developing self-reliance and through partnerships with like-minded states. Ang West Philippine Sea ay hindi katang-isip natin lamang. Ito ay atin. Ito ay At ito ay mananatiling atin hanggat nag-aalab ang diwa ng ating minamahal na bansang Pilipinas.
Yan ang first standing ovation na nakuha ni President Bongbong Marcos kahapon sa kanyang third State of the Nation address. Tungkol naman yan sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea.
Yeah, ang medyo mas clear sa akin yung Pogo side kasi yan talagang direct order na iban mo. Itong sinabi ni Pangulo sa West Philippine Sea, medyong conflicting para sa akin. Naglalaban pa yung loob ko. It's because he mentioned, prior to that, di ba nagkaroon ng supposed gentleman's arrangement with China na may sariling version ng China, may sariling version tayo. While he was very stern and strong about his statement na atin yung West Philippine Sea, pero he also said the word de-escalation, which we want. But we all know sometimes de-escalation, the only way to de-escalate the tension with China is to magpaalam ka. Because yan ang ng China is, the only way you will be allowed to go and do your missions is magpaalam kayo sa amin. So does it mean magpapaalam tayo?
Yan ang hindi natin pero first time niya actually nagamit itong de-escalation na word.
That's precisely
ni PBBM. And if you will look at the surveys na ginawa noon tungkol sa policy ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos or the Marcos administration tungkol sa West Philippine Sea, a lot of us, the majority of the Filipinos, approve yung kanyang ginagawa ngayon about the West Philippine Sea.
Oh yeah,
now,
we're maintaining
I asked yesterday during our SONA coverage dun sa ating, one of our guests, political analyst na si Ronald Llamas, kinanong ko sa kanya, okay lang ba na hindi na muna niya binanggit kahapon, although may standing ovation yung sa West Philippine Sea, yung arrangement, yung recent arrangement na with China tungkol sa Rory mission. Sabi niya, well, kasi unclear pa rin naman yung
unclear.
parang pinag-usapan nila doon, ano bang agreement, because right after that we have announced na merong agreement na ganyan tungkol sa Rory mission, here comes China again saying a different scenario, 'di ba? A different situation. So, it's okay na hindi pa rin naman niya nasabi tungkol yung ganon, yung tungkol sa Rory mission during the SONA. Pero na-reiterate naman niya yung stand natin when it comes to the
Anyway, lastly, before we go, ang tingin ko dito is because approach na yung US presidential election. So kahit anong putulan ng daliri yung sundalo natin, yung Navy officer na official natin at that time sa yung nangyaring incident, supposedly daw behind the scenes we were told to take it easy and relax because siguro at this point, the US doesn't want to be confrontational given that there's our upcoming presidential elections. Hindi natin alam kung Republican or Democrat ang mamumuno. If it's President Trump, iba ang pananaw ng mga Republicans on how to handle foreign policies. Pero it's made clear by the foreign policy of Trump that they will shift from European-centric ties to Asian-centric ties. That means magfo-focus sila more on building relationships with
Asian
Asia.
countries. Pero yun.
So let's see after December if tapos na ang election, may bagong president ang US, let's see if we still maintain the de-escalation mode or we will still be stern in saying hindi kami magpapaalam ko sa atin.
Kasi ang importante, maayos muna natin yung Rory mission because the last time that we had the Rory mission was in June 17 kung saan nagkaroon nga ng tawag dito ng anong tawag doon, 'di ba, yung Philippine Navy at saka yung altercation, 'di ba, yung naharang yung ating ipapadala sa BRP Sierra Madre. But then again, marami pa tayong pag-uusapan tungkol sa SONA, kasama pa rin itong West Philippine Sea. Let's continue muna with our countdown. Our fourth story is the prayer rally against divorce set in Cebu this coming Saturday. The Cebu Archdiocese will hold the rally, which it says intends to protect the family and sanctity of marriage. All afternoon masses would be canceled on July 27 for the said event. The rally will begin at 3 p.m. with a procession from the Fuente Osmeña Circle to the Basilica Minore de Santo Niño o del Santo Niño de Cebu. The Philippines, along with Vatican, is the only country that still outlaws divorce.
Well, sabi naman ni Senate President Chis Escudero, backburner muna yung mga yan.
Kasama ang charter change.
Kasama ang charter change and
pero
death
sa
penalty.
Congress kasi, pasado yun.
Without the Senate, walang mangyayari. So, backburner muna yung mga yan. Let's move on to the next. Switching gears and on to our top 6. Prior to the SONA, members of the House reconvened for the third regular session of the 19th Congress. In his speech, Romualdez announced the Chamber's passage of all priority measures mentioned by Marcos in his last SONA. These include the LGU Income Classification Act, the Ease of Paying Taxes Act, and the Tatak Pinoy Law, among others. He vowed to continue working on bills mentioned during the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council or LEDAC meeting last month.
Yan ang mga priority bills sila kailangan na maisabatas. Pero sinasabi nga ng di ba, ng ang tawag dito, parang before, di ba, nakakapasa kami ng batas, ewan ko lang sa Senado. Kasi laging naiipit sa Senado. Because in the Senate, talagang iba-iba din yung nila doon di ba, yung mga pananaw nila in between issues. But of course,
all 24 are independent of
exactly.
of any ties to executive or the lower chamber. The lower chamber kasi are per congressman, they're tied to their district. So may independent mind ang 24, each of the 24
Yan
senators.
din ang sinabi ni...
So check and balance sila.
Exactly. Yan din ang sinabi ni Senate President Chis Escudero yesterday dun sa pag-open din ng Senate kahapon, di ba? Bilang siya yung first, as the new Senate
SP.
President, sabi niya na kahit baka nga daw mabackburner muna yung charter change, and there are other bills din, of course, sabi niya gano'n, hindi lang naman siya ang kumakatawan ng buong Senado, but there are other senators pa na makakipag-usap at talagang i-scrutinize, diba, yung mga nilalaman ng balita na yun.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, sige. The Alice Guo saga continues on our fifth story. The suspended Bamban mayor was still a no-show at the second preliminary investigation at the DOJ. That's over the human trafficking case against her in connection to illegal POGO operations. Go was instead represented by her legal counsel, PAOK spokesperson, legal counsel, and PAOK spokesperson Winston Casio criticized the embattled mayor's absence, especially after Go earlier said she's ready to face the accusations against her in a proper venue.
Now, this is the proper forum, no? Dapat pumunta po siya rito para i-presenta yung kanyang counter affidavit at i-subscribe niya. Pero yun nga, nakakalungkot, wala pa rin po siya ngayon.
Finding Alice.
Yun pa rin, no? Kaya,
Finding Kibuloy.
hopefully we can talk to Sir Winston Casio, ang spokesperson ng PAOK, para we can get details from him regarding this probe, no, mamaya. At saka, of course, yung sa POGO ba na sinabi ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos yesterday sa kanyang SONA.
Let's move on. Coming in at the fourth spot, Vice President Sara Duterte opted not to watch the live SONA broadcast. Duterte's office says she had to pay respects to the late Bohol Vice Governor Dionisio Balite. The OVP explains that it's an opportune time for Duterte to bring a message of hope on Bohol Day on Monday. Duterte earlier said she would not attend the SONA and appointed herself a designated survivor.
Alright, so yun nga yung sinasabi natin, di ba? Alam naman natin talaga na ang tawag dito, hindi talaga pupunta si Vice President Sara Duterte. This is the first time na nagsona si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na wala siyang Vice Presidente.
Correct.
And even she reiterated na kahit sa TV or online, hindi siya manonood nitong SONA. Even Senator Bongo and Senator Bato de la Rosa weren't present yesterday dun sa naging SONA. Okay, government officials have dismissed the viral video of President Bongbong Marcos allegedly using drugs. The Defense Department says it was, quote, obviously fake and an attempt to destabilize the current administration. The DICT also echoed the DND statements saying the video was a deep fake. Meantime, the DILG ordered the creation of a special task force to determine the people behind the video. The video supposedly originated from a Maiso gathering in Los Angeles. Oh, naging trending din ito diba? Right before the SONA ay ipinalabas itong video na ito.
Kitang-kita naman na deepfake, di ba? I mean, why would they spend time doing that? Sana, I mean, we all don't agree on certain political beliefs, pero at the same time, why waste time doing things like that? Hindi mo nakakatulong, sa bayan.
Doon yun sa isang rally,
sa Los Angeles, California. Oo.
Si former spokesperson
Harry Roque.
He was there also participating ata. No?
Yes, he was.
At doon inilabas nga yung video. Kumakalat yan yesterday right before the SONA. Kaya yung intent no ng pagpapakalat, kaya sinasabi baka daw destabilization plot. And in connection to that, biglang nagsabi ulit si former President Rodrigo Duterte, naghahamon ulit ng drug test. Nako, Di pa tayo matapos sa usapin na yan. Hanapin niyo muna si Kibuloy at saka si Alice Go.
At dahil dyan, huwag kayo tatakas.
Babati tayo mamaya. Tomorrow. Oo, kasi may mga gusto magpabati.
Huwag kayo tatakas. Hahanapin namin kayo. Don't go away. We're not done yet. May dalawa pa. May tatlo pa.
Yes. Stay with us.
Our bloodless war on dangerous drugs adheres and will continue to adhere to the established 8 E's of an effective anti-illegal drug strategy. Extermination was never one of them.
Actually, yesterday when I was watching yung The Big Story, tapos yung analyst na kasama nyo, what's his name?
Big Story?
TBS.
Okay. Nanood ka? Hindi ako nakapanood. SONA coverage.
SONA coverage pala.
Hirap pa. Mali naman.
Yung analyst na kasama, alam mo naman ibig ko sabihin.
Mali naman. Game.
Analyst na kasama nyo was said na if he was asked if he thinks na this SONA was prepared with elections in mind, the midterm election, he believes so. And then he pointed out several things. But when you look, if you look at the highlights of the SONA, yung West Philippine Sea, the bloodless way of dealing with drugs, di ba? These are all pivots from most of the policies the last PRRD administration had. This will be bloody because galit siya sa mga addict, di ba? Mga galit siya sa drugs per se. The Philippines China-centric policies that we had in the last admin, ngayon parang nakikita mo, it's all
Totally
balik plus.
different
The approval of POGO by the last administration. So parang lahat ng mga policy na ginawa ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte was all reversed in the one SONA.
Oo.
So
Kaya yung-
definitely in mind because ngayon na wala si BP Sara, si PBBM is drawing the line already between my side and your side.
This is how I do things.
Even though he's not saying it directly, he's saying it parang based on policy para pagdating ng election, yung mga voters will see, ito yung policy ko, ito yung policy niya. Ano mas gusto nyo?
Totally different.
Yun ang iboto nyo. Parang gano'n ang...
Ay, nagsisigawan nga yung mga congressman dun, saka congresswomen di ba?
they were the same one
The
till-
same people.
The same, almost the same.
Almost, of course, may mga nabago. Pero parang majority naman, these are the same politicians na talagang who clapped their hands also.
Wow.
Rejoiced during the pronouncement of former President Duterte on their
The
drug war
Na
campaign.
it will be bloody but it's
di
for
ba,
the
I
good.
will kill you, mga ganyan-ganyan. Tapos ngayon, palakpakan ulit sila kasi bloodless naman. Kaya nga tinatanong ko kahapon dun din sa guest namin kila Ronald Llamas, tinatanong ko sa kanila, parinig ba to kay former President Rodrigo Duterte, yung bloodless campaign nila sa anti-illegal drug war ng Marcos administration? Most probably, yes. Diba?
Feeling ko indirectly.
Indirectly, pero-
he's trying to showcase to the public yung difference in policy that he has from the last admin. Parang he's drawing the line already. He's making it clear ano yung difference ng both sides.
Exactly.
Oo. Para pagdating ng election, hindi magkagulo kung sino iboboto sa mga senador. Kasi 12 yan. And that is very critical for the next 3 years of either side. One is for survival, one is for the enhancement of power for the upcoming
presidential sa 2028. Oo. Sabi ni agree naman yung mga nanonood sa atin, si Mark Santiago, si Oscar N, si Anuel Calayan, si Gary Co. Yan ang mga laging nanonood sa atin.
Ito pala, si Sam Pokemon Go, by the way, pag-greet naman 3rd birthday ni Boo, yung baby American Bully. Yung dog niya, American Bully dog.
Lagi daw nanonood sa atin. Si
At-
Alex Fuentes, si Sam Pokemon Go, si Ralph Domingo na very sad ngayon dahil maulan.
At sabi daw, parang mobile game daw yung speech ni BBM sa SONA kasi ilalabas ang big gun sa last part.
Oo, yun ang inantay talaga
Sa mga
ng
game
mga
kasi,
tao.
di ba, lalabas mo yung malaking baril mo sa last.
Oo.
Anyway,
Vladimir, si Ate Rigo Lagunsa, nanonood sa atin.
Good morning.
Tita Daisy and Tito Naldi, of course. And Tita Esther Abaya, na lagi rin nanonood sa atin. Okay, let's continue now with our countdown. On our top 3 is newly minted Education Secretary Sonny Angara's latest pronouncement. Angara says he has no plans to change the Matatag curriculum. He adds that they aim to build upon the existing framework. The Matatag curriculum was implemented by his predecessor, Vice President Sara Duterte. The curriculum was launched in August prior to its phased implementation starting this coming school year. Angara officially took over the reins of DepEd from Duterte on July 18.
Gusto talaga natin may curriculum stability tayo. That's why sabi nila, kada bagong secretary, bagong curriculum. Ako, wala akong balak magbago ng curriculum. We just want to work from what's already there. So, we will continue the piloting of the Matatag curriculum.
Mahirap na trabaho to kakaharapan ni Secretary Angara on education forefront kasi may mga left and right. As alam ko sa higher education to, but overall the foundation of higher education comes from grade school onwards, diba? So mahirap ang trabaho niya how to rebuild yung para yung pagtingin sa atin ng international community, yung skills ng students natin.
Oo, tsaka yung grassroots na learning ng mga kabataan when it comes to, kasi nakikita natin yun sa mga studies na ginagawa, yung PISA, for example, di ba, yung mga creative thinking, yung literacy ng mga estudyante, yun talaga dapat ang tinututukan ngayon. Kasi it's, di ba, for the longest time, siguro mga nag-aral ka, nag-aral tayo, it's more of like, checking all the data, memorize mo siya, wala talagang critical thinking na ibinibigay sa'yo at that particular time, no, during our school days.
I remember nung 80s, meron Japanese friend daddy ko na may anak na who stayed with us for a while. And then pinapaaral siya dito, parang sinasabi niya na naranasan niya mag-exchange students sandali. Ang hirap daw ng education dito, and students were looked up to because mahirap ang pinag-aaral natin, grade level to grade level comparative to other countries. Pero over the years, parang naging stagnant tayo. We remained...
walang improvement, walang development.
We continue to do the same things over and over again. Nag-progress naman yung ibang nation. So napag-iwanan yung mga students natin.
Oo, banggitin ko lang mabilis doon sa naging sona ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Of course, hindi mawawala yung education, di ba? At sinabi niya doon yung pag-update ng mga school books, ng mga textbooks, na yung proseso before na 3 years, gagawin na lang daw 1 year. Basta importante, kung i-update niyan is of doing yung itong proseso na to sa ating textbooks, ang importante dyan, walang revisionism na mga when it comes to historical facts.
Alright.
Okay.
Let's move on. On our second spot, PAGCOR says they will comply with President Marcos's order to ban POGOs. Chairman Altenco, though, admits that some 42,000 workers might lose their jobs. Labor Secretary Benny Laguesma also expressed concern about Filipinos who will be jobless. But he says Dole will do everything to find employment for affected workers. In his SONA, Marcos banned all Philippine offshore gaming operators effective yesterday.
Ang concern mo ngayon ay dadami illegal, siguro kailangan talaga ang pakikipag-ugnayan sa law enforcement agencies. Para nang sa ganon, actually ngayon wala na magiging problema. Lahat na nag-ooperate na illegal, bawal na.
Huwag naman siguro nating isipin na madadagdagan na naman ang unemployment. Kasi kasama naman yan talaga sa, kumbaga sa challenges, pagsubok ng Department of Labor and Employment. In fact, meron kaming isinubmit na trabaho para sa Bayan Plan sa ating Pangulo. Naka-outline doon, nakadetalye doon yung mga pwedeng panggalingan ng trabaho.
Now let's get the reaction of the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission.
We have with us spokesperson Winston Casio joining us via Zoom. Magandang umaga, Spokes Casio. Thank you for joining us.
Magandang umaga and thank you for having me again, Angelo and Angela.
Yes, of course.
Yes, Spokes, I'd like to ask, ano po yung reaction nyo sa POGO ban? Was this something you expected and mas mapapadali po ba ang trabaho nyo?
Yeah, actually we're quite excited. No? Mas tuwang-tuwa po kami sa nangyari nito sapagkat ibig sabihin ho nito, makukuha na ho namin yung 100% na cooperation ng iba't ibang mga ahensya para labanan ho natin ito at may pesara. Bear in mind that we've got a good idea where they are. Meron ho tayong mga listahan kung nasaan sila. So kulang lang ho talaga kami ng manpower. So now that there is a total ban, so we expect all agencies of government to be helping us, to coordinate with us, to be able to put an end to this problem once and for all.
Spokes, I'd like to add to that. Now, how does this change yung buong timeline nyo with regards to closing down POGOs, and will you still be at the forefront of these operations?
Well, this is going to be an interagency effort. So, all of government approach po tayo dito sapagkat una, yung DILG under Secretary Abalos, nagtayo rin po sila ng sarili nilang task force Schemer. Schemer po yata ang pangalan noon. So we will work alongside them, and kami naman po, yung aming interagency task group together with DILG IACAT, Bureau of Immigration, the PNP, NBI, AMLC, tuloy-tuloy din po. We've got a list of 58 illegal POGOs out there. So hopefully we'll be able to close all of them within the next few months. And I think with the help of all agencies, kaya ho natin ito. We've got enough time to be able to put an end to this problem by December.
Spokes, ito pong pronouncement ni PBBM yesterday regarding po nga sa illegal, pagban ng mga illegal POGOs, is this something you have expected na po? May prior information na po ba kayo?
Yeah, we had a feeling that there would be a total ban kasi last week we were the presidential management staff together with, I think, PCO asked for our inputs in relation to this problem. And our director, Undersecretary Gilbert Cruz, submitted our recommendation, our outline, our briefer in relation to this POGO problem. Kaya nung weekend, fairly confident ako, personally, na merong ganitong pronouncement na lalabas kahapon.
I'd like to add that spokes na starting December after the end of the year, yun po ang effectivity ng bawal na po ang POGO. So henceforth, moving forward, lahat po ng mga POGO operations, kahit wala po silang illegal na ginagawa, they will also be tagged already as illegal. Is that correct?
Well, actually, if I get the message, the President right, starting yesterday po.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
dapat,
Hindi, kasi may...
PAGCOR was given up until the end of the year to wind down. So, ibig sabihin,
okay.
kinakailangan mag-meeting na po yung iba't ibang ahensya, PAGCOR, PAOK, PNP, DILG, DOJ, and all. So, we need to come up with a workable plan on how to implement the marching order of the President.
Right. You mentioned kanina, no, spokes, na meron kayong tinitignan 58. Tama po ba? 58 illegal POGOs?
Tama po, tama po.
Can we ask po kung saan-saan po itong mga lugar na ito?
Karamihan po dito sa Metro Manila, Central Luzon, and Calabarzon, no? So, at saka may report na kanyang takbo na po itong mga bosses ng POGO. In fact, over the weekend, meron kaming na-intercept na isa sa May La Union. He was attempting to get out of the country. So, marami ho kaming minabantayan ng mga bosses ngayon. So, we have so many leads. Nagmamadali nga ho kami, ano? Araw-araw kaming nag-aabol ng kung sino-sino mga tao at saka mga location para ma-meet po natin itong deadline ng presidente. So,
Opo. The reason why I asked that because kung ito po bang mga 58 illegal POGOs na ito ay sila po ba ay lahat ay sangkot po maaari dito sa mga Chinese syndicates?
yes, ma'am. All POGOs, all scam hubs are all being run by different Chinese syndicates, no? Yung Pujian group nga po na pinatatakbo ng pamilya nila Alice Guo at ng kanilang mga partners, sila po yung pinakamalaki. Kaya lang, bago pa po itong Pujian gang, matagal na hong may isang criminal organization ng mga Chinese na nandito sa Pilipinas. Way back, early 2000 pa po, meron ng mga grupo ng mga criminal syndicates na pinapatakbo ng mga Chinese dito. Tapos naging when the POGOs were allowed to branch out of the export processing zones, sila po yung pumasok dito sapagkat matagal na nga po sila may mga network dito sa Pilipinas.
Okay, taking this opportunity na rin po, spokesperson, para itanong na rin po kayo tungkol po dito kay suspended Mayor Alice Guo, doon po sa kahapon po, yung probe po na supposedly nandoon siya pero hindi po dumating. Ano pong update niyo po dito?
Well, yeah. Nakakalungkot na magpasangga ngayon, hindi pa po sila nagsasabit ng kanilang counter affidavit. Pero kahapon nabigyan sila ng pagkakataon sapagkat kami po, yung Estado, the government provided supplemental affidavits galing doon sa apat nating additional na mga witnesses. At saka meron tayong dinagdag na isang Pilipina na iaabla rin po natin sapagkat na-identify po namin na yung Pilipinang ito na napakawalan na ay siyang HR, yung nagre-recruit ng mga biktima o yung nagre-recruit ng mga scammers para doon sa Sunyuan, sa Waupu. So dahil po doon sa mga supplemental affidavits na yon, nabigyan sila ng hanggang August 6 para mag-submit ng kanilang counter affidavit. Pag wala pa rin po silang isubmit by then, they will lose their chance to be able to provide a counter affidavit.
Ito pong supposedly tumatay yung illegal recruiter na nabanggit nyo, spokes. Ito po ay aside, bukod pa doon sa 4 new witnesses na isinama nyo kahapon?
Yes, ma'am. Meron tayong kinasuhan kasi Pilipina doon sa Sunyuan nung inquest. Kaya lang sa kakulangan ng ebidensya na RFI po siya, recommended for further investigation. No? So nakakuha na po kami ng karagdagang mga ebidensya. Nakasuhan na po siya kahapon. Nasampahan po siya kahapon.
Ito pong 4 new witnesses, ito po ba yung mga Pilipino din?
Yes, Angela. There's our 4 Filipino witnesses.
How are they going to help po dito po sa kaso?
Sila po yung nakapag-provide, nakapag-identify kung papaano yung mechanism of scamming mula sa recruitment hanggang doon sa scamming sa loob ng Sunyuan at saka ng Baofu. Ito ay mas nagpapalakas sa aming contention, sa aming allegation, na talaga yung Baofu was created for the purposes of scamming activities. Hindi po talaga siya real estate, kundi yung namili sila ng mga lupan, so on and so forth. Pero yung end goal nila ay magtayo ng scamming hub dyan sa Bamban.
Yes, folks, I'd like to ask, you mentioned kasi kanina na one of the biggest groups po ng syndicate dito na nagpapatakbo ng illegal pogo ay yung grupo po nila Mayor Alice Guo. I'd like to ask if is she at the top of the food chain po with regards to those running these scam hubs, or meron pong mas mataas na tinitignan tayo na possible na all the way that could link up to other countries?
Yeah, she's not the highest, no? Si Alice Guo is just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. Her entire family is involved in all of these scamming operations, not only in the Philippines, but all the way to the Golden Triangle. We can see their tentacles all the way to Cambodia. In some instances, I think there were reports of seeing them in Laos also. There were pretty sure that they've got operations in Cambodia as well. So yung pamilya nila, ito ho talaga yung negosyo, pero may mga business partners pa po sila.
So yung daddy po ni Mayor Alice, definitely kasama po dito?
Yes po, yes po, yes po. Yung kanilang, kaya nga po, ang sabi ni Senator Gatchalian, siya ay naniniwala na posibleng yung ama mismo ni Alice Guo ang financier ng kanilang criminal organization.
Okay.
Spokes, kanina na-mention nyo nga po no, yung mga 58 illegal pogos na binabantayan po ninyo ay mostly concentrated sa Luzon, sa Metro Manila. Why do you think that is po, na mostly doon po sila nagtatayo ng mga pogos nila? Meron po ba tayong investigation o tinitignan na angulo na may mga kasabot din po silang mga local government officials?
Well, yung preference kasi nila na nandito sa Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Central Luzon is primarily rooted in the fact na we've got good connectivity in this urban areas. That's one. Second, their access to the international airports. No? So malaking bagay din po yun. But that doesn't mean that these scam farms are only in these areas. We've seen them as far as Mindanao. We've seen them as far as the Visayas. So they're all over the country for that matter. The other question is, meron po ba silang mga kasabwat na mga local individuals dito? Yeah. They've aligned, they've coalesced with local syndicates as well, who are into gambling, who are into other forms of criminal activities, no? And there are good reports, we've seen good reports that some local government officials have been co-opted by simply looking the other way. Hindi naman po sila directly involved doon sa operation ng scamming. Kaya lang, they have been able these scamming activities because they have provided permits, they've chosen to make the application process easier for these scam farms.
Siguro lastly na lang po, Spokes, kamustahin namin yung mga na-rescue po ninyo dito sa mga illegal pogos na ito na mga tortured victims?
Well, okay naman po sila. In fact, a good number of them have underwent a medical legal examination, likewise psychological evaluation. So the cases are ongoing, so they'll still be here in the country for the next few months up until the time that the cases concludes. Then hopefully by the time we'll be able to send them home to their countries at the expense of the Philippine government.
And siguro mensahe po kung meron po kayo para po kay Mayor Alice Guo kung sakasakaling nakikinig po o nanonood siya.
Well, I hate to be in her shoes, no? This is a consequence of the wrong choices that she made. But at the end of the day, if it's peace of mind that she wants, she would only have peace of mind if she musters the courage to face all of these legal challenges before her. Kasi hindi pwedeng tago po siya ng tago. Wherever she goes, the arm of the law, the long arm of the law will go after her. even if she goes to China, we will have to talk with our Chinese counterparts. Kung saan man po siya magpunta, may clean up po yung mundo niya.
And we've seen several reports po no, na sinasabi kay Senator Win Gatchalian, gano'n na rin po kay Senator Risa Ontiveros na may mga death threats po sila na possibly link po dun sa kanilang ongoing investigation dito po sa Pogo. Kayo po ba, spokesperson na Casio, meron din po ba kayo nare-receive ng mga death threats?
Well, lahat naman po kami nagtatrabaho dito sa problema ng Pogo, nakakatanggap po ng mga death threats ng mga ganyan. So we've taken all the necessary precautions. The Office of the President, the Office of the Executive Secretary, the Commission itself have provided us with the necessary security to be able to deflect all of these threats na hindi po sila mag-actualize. No?
All right, with that, thank you very much for joining us, PAOK spokesman Winston Casio. Good morning.
Magandang umaga po. Thank you very much.
Yun. Naku, napakaganda ng ating interview
Yes,
with Winston Casio. And hopefully we can talk to
Madaming
him
na-
again dun sa update ng kanilang
na-clarify.
mga ginagawa.
Madaming na-clarify.
Alright, sige, diretso na tayo sa ating countdown. Our top story is President Bongbong Marcos's third State of the Nation address. Or SONA, here's a recap of yesterday's speech.
President Bongbong Marcos made sure his third State of the Nation address ended with a bombshell announcement, that being the immediate ban on all operations of Philippine offshore gaming operators.
Naririnig po namin ang malakas na sigaw ng taong bayan laban sa mga pogo. Disguising as legitimate entities, their operations have ventured into illicit areas furthest from gaming, such as financial scamming, money laundering, prostitution, human trafficking, kidnapping, brutal torture, even murder. The grave abuse and disrespect to our system of laws must stop. Kailangan nang itigil ang panggulo nito sa ating lipunan at paglalapastangan sa ating bansa. Effective today, all pogos are banned. I hereby instruct PAGCOR to wind down and cease the operation of pogos by the end of the year. The DOLE, in coordination with our economic managers, shall use the time between now and then to find new for our countrymen who will be displaced.
Aside from pogos, Marcos made a bold statement regarding the West Philippine Sea.
The Philippines cannot yield. The Philippines cannot waver. We are continuing to strengthen our defensive posture, both through developing self-reliance and through partnerships with like-minded states. Ang West Philippine Sea ay hindi kathang-isip natin lamang. Ito ay atin. Ito ay At ito ay mananatiling atin hanggat nag-aalab ang diwa ng ating minamahal na bansang Pilipinas.
He also appeared to be slightly emotional when thanking fishermen and patrollers in WPS.
Sa buong sandataang lakas, sa Coast Guard, sa ating mga mangingisda sa West Philippine Sea, tagapin po ninyo ang taus-pusong pasasalamat ng buong bansa dahil sa inyong ginagawang pagmamatyag at sakripisyo.
Meantime, the president said there is no room for killings in his administration's campaign against illegal drugs.
Our bloodless war on dangerous drugs adheres and will continue to adhere to the established 8 E's of an effective anti-illegal drug strategy. Extermination was never one of them.
Before emphasizing the government's gains in agriculture, Marcos admitted that retail prices of rice are costly. To reduce rice prices, he said they had to reduce the tariff rate for imported rice and implement mandated price ceilings for the staple.
Tinitiyak ko sa ating mga magsasaka at sa buong sektor ng agrikultura na ang mga ito ay pawang panggipitang solusyon lamang. Sa panahon
Aside from that, Marcos also touched on several issues in the country. These include digital gap, frequent brownouts, El Nino, and swine fever. The president capped off his sauna with a quote from English philosopher John Stuart Mill's speech and with a challenge for Filipinos.
Let not anyone pacify his conscience by the delusion that he can do no harm if he takes no part and forms no opinion. Bad men need nothing more to compass their ends than that good men should look on and do nothing. He is not a good man. Mga minamahal kong kababayan, lagi po nating labanan ang mali at ang masama. Lagi po nating ipaglaban ang tama at ang mabuti. Lagi po nating mahalin ang Pilipinas.
Okay, so that speech lasted for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Tama ba ako, Direk?
1 hour 22.
22.
1 hour
sorry.
22 minutes.
So, last
his
sauna niya is 1
longest to
hour
date.
and 11 minutes.
Longest to date niya. Longest speech
Tapos
to date.
it's mixed of Filipino and English
Yeah.
languages.
Maganda
and,
yung pinunto ng mga analyst.
Yes,
diba?
oo,
Pag Filipino, he talks to the people. But when he reverts back to English, he's talking about yung gawa ng gobyerno.
Oo, yung mga policies.
And he's addressing lawmakers.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Kasi I asked the pundits kahapon, yung mga political analysts natin dun sa coverage na kasi yung sa start ng speech niya Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, makikita mo na may empathy actually, not just the start but also parang may mga parte doon, 'di ba? Kasi una, of course, pinakinggan niya yung urgent concern ng mga Pilipino, which is yung inflation. Pangalawa, binati niya at naging malaki ang pasasalamat niya sa mga OFW, sa mga teachers, and he even also showed or presented doon sa Batasang Pambansa yung mga ilang graduates ng 4Ps.
Yeah.
'Di ba? So parang leaning towards siya doon sa mga kumbaga yung mga hinihingi talaga ng mga tao during a survey.
He's connecting to the people. It's the same, very similar to, I mean, I was born. Very similar to what his late father did in his early years before yung martial law na yan. He was also connecting very well sa mga tao. That's why he was beloved by a lot of people, especially nagkaroon ng northern following for him. It's because he would address the people, he would have policies that are centered towards agriculture, uplifting the poor, nutrition. So very similar ang ginagawa niya. Kaya nga, di ba, sinasabi, he's hitting on nostalgic points. He has...
Meron pa siya yung Renaissance Railway.
Yeah, Renaissance Railway, Kadiwa stores, di ba, Maharlika, yung bagong...
Pero napansin mo ba yung sa NAIA, hindi niya binabanggit masyado yung pangalan ng Ninoy Aquino International Airport?
No, the airport.
Or Intriguera lang ako.
Di ba si former Senator Bam Aquino the administration.
Wala rin banggitan.
Wala
Pero,
rin banggitan.
okay, so maganda, sabi nila, no? Punong-puno ng impormasyon. Yung iba na bore naman. Pero yung ating mga kababayan, ano ba yung nasa isip nila? Nagustuhan ba nila? Pag, kumbaga, ipapakita natin yung mga datos talaga. 'Di ba? Tama ba yung mga sinabi ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos? O lip service lamang ito mga sinabi niya. 'Di ba? Kasi sa ngayon, although inamin naman niya yung pagtugon sa inflation ay band-aid solution lamang, so kailangan daw talaga ng mas matatag na mga polisiya dahil hanggang ngayon marami pa rin nagugutom.
At the end of the day, you cannot eat a word. So tingnan natin how this translates into food. And with that, I'd like to make dugtong sa quote ni President Bongbong Marcos. And the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. A quote attributed to Edmund Burke, including John F. Kennedy.
Yun, di ba? Habang sila ay magaganda ang suot, masarap ang kinain kahapon, ngayon po, tuloy-tuloy lang ang buhay ng ating mga kababayan. Namamasada, nagtatrabaho.
Okay, and that wraps up today's episode of Brine.
Matapos. Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsod Castro.
And I am Angelo Castro III.
We are One News,
all sides,
all the time.
Pinatapos ako.
Ay!